She's calling back. We're going to try to give her a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Step out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran off her medication. She's at work to safe haven. Attacking 12, take the check that one out.
6 Rumble, 2 1 start, take the shot.
Officer still stands for time? No. Offender in custody? Temporary with thanks. Anyone else close, wait to see what's up, let me know. Come first time out. 10-4. 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Step out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran off her medication. She's at work to safe haven. Attacking 12, take the check that one out.
6 Rumble, 2 1 start, take the shot.
Officer still stands for time? No. Offender in custody? Temporary with thanks. Anyone else close, wait to see what's up, let me know. 10-5, 33.
3-3. Can you let us supervise the phone and location report? Rest attached.
1830.
As we get this thing going here, I should be popping up now. What's up, everybody? Man, the obviously the America's Most Wanted episode came out last night, and I was pretty shocked. I have a lot of things to say. I had a lot of things to say last night. I figured I would save it for tonight. I had to get other things done. You know what I mean? The new program, all that other stuff. If you were with me early this morning at like, man, what time was it? Like 3:30 Central this morning. I think I went live. Just got done with the program. Had to test it out anyway. I was like, hey, let's talk Idaho 4. I wanted to save this conversation for tonight, though. Should be having a special guest coming up here shortly, but I'll keep that a surprise for all you. Also, I got another surprise for later in the show if we have time. I'm not going to make this a too terribly late show. Whoop, hold on. It's like I hear an echo. It's not going to be a too terribly late show, but there was something I wanted to go through with you guys from a few weeks ago. Now, we haven't really been talking Sebastian Rogers very much. There's a reason for it. Number one, we just don't get into the back and forth. It's number two, there really hasn't been any updates. And you can see that with the recent back and forth too, because really it's just about back and forth. Really has nothing to do about Sebastian. And unfortunately, that's what some people have to do when there's no updates. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to say the anti-slap the Rico stuff. We put out a post a couple weeks ago. It, like I said, one day when we get the fellas up here, we'll just kind of let you all know. You know what I'm saying? It's something that we could have been included in it, but honestly, it was just like I don't know, man. The vibes were off from late September, early October. Vibes were just really off, and then you know what I'm saying. You know how it's been. We've been there from the beginning. We were searching from the beginning, and you all seen how we got treated with all of our efforts. So it is what it is. But yeah, we'll have to have a show here in the future sometime. Can I turn my... Hold on one second. Is the music too loud? Hold on. Maybe the music was too loud. Hold on. Turn my... Oh, shit. Busby's... Oh, hold on one second. Let's see. Let's do something like this. Hold on. 1 second. I'll scoot me over here.
I don't know how to add an avatar, dude.
Oh, you're fine, buddy. Your voice and your company is all that matters. The avatar, it is what it is. So here, there's the special guest. I'll drop his link. So can you hear me okay, dude?
I can hear you crystal clear.
All right, good. Give me 1 second. You got to give me some patience here. I'm still kind of getting through the new program. There's Busby True Crime Network. Go sub up to him if you're not. What's up, everybody? Thank you for hopping in. Can I turn my volume up a little? Maybe it was the music that was too loud. I don't know. Yeah, let me know. Just because I'm still learning this stuff or whatever. Um, but yeah, I was kind of bringing up, the you know the whole back and forth stuff. That's why we really haven't been discussing Sebastian lately. Is
Yeah,
not because we don't want to. It's because there just hasn't been any updates, and we don't do the.
we're not getting involved in all the shit.
Never have, man. Never have. Never
Nope.
will. Um, it's unfortunately that's what some people do when there's no updates. Is they choose to go that route. Whatever. To each their own. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But did what'd you think about the America's Most Wanted episode last night? You saw it, right, man? I know you were busy with your family and driving back and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I listened to it, and they changed their statements a little bit, is what I
Yeah.
thought.
Yes, they did, sir. Yeah, because when I watched it, I was like, oh, that's interesting because some things got left out there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I,
some important things.
yeah, I thought it was a little interesting, to say the least. So I want to go through that. Also, I want to say shout out to Derek Lavasser. A couple months ago, I had reached out to him, and I let him know, how much we appreciate what he does. I just hit him up in the background or whatever.
Yeah,
And I was like, is it cool if I use your Sebastian video from like I think it was in December or something. And I was like, is it cool if I use it, man? Because I like your approach. I like how you go through the information. I like how you present it. It's very respectful,
right.
and you know what I mean. And so he was like, yeah, no problem. Just make sure you credit. And I'm like, hey, I always do. You know what I always got these things popping up. Boom.
Yeah, you ever use anybody's video, you always credit their stuff.
Yeah, always. So I was it was kind of cool because it was like, oh, neat. He's gonna be doing the America's Most Wanted. That's really cool.
Uh huh.
And and also he had a little video before the America's Most Wanted video came out, just kind of explaining stuff. Now, obviously, I remember everybody that was on that panel for America's Most Wanted, but I didn't remember the blonde haired Imagine Eminem Dragon guy. The blonde hair, it's dyed blonde, then he shaves the side of his head. I don't know who that is. And honestly, dude, because we were down there all the time, nonstop, and I don't even remember hearing about this guy or seeing him or anything. Did he? Do you recall who that was? Because I didn't.
Which guy was that?
The guy that had his hair dyed blonde and then the shape, he dyed it like Eminem, but then shaved the sides like Imagine Dragons.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what the haircut's called, dude. It's like
yeah.
it's not a mullet. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's called.
No, I don't know. I know who you're talking about though. No, I don't recall ever seeing him.
Yeah, because it was like I didn't understand. I didn't know who he was. I was just sitting back listening, and as I was listening, Elizabeth Smart brought up a really good point about, hey, I was abducted from my bed in
Right.
my room from a stranger. You know what I'm saying? So Derek brought something to the table. So did Mr. Walsh, and then the blonde guy. He was just like, yeah. If any neighbors have any footage, just double check it. And I'm like sitting there going, bro, no, like there's
A year later, you don't think they've already done that?
like all of us, all of us, man. Like everybody. Think of all the footage that everybody has dug through in Sebastian Rogers' case, and I'm talking everybody, all the people.
I was just there 2
You know?
days.
So I was just like, okay, that's weird. But I don't know. It was, and then the thing, like when he said, Sebastian knew him but didn't know him good enough or something, and I'm like, it just brought me back to it, dude. It always brings me back to the day in May
Yep.
where we were standing there after that last search on a lake, and I'm just like, it's abduction, man.
Yeah.
And that's when I started talking about it. Listen, think about, it doesn't even have to be an abduction. Think about the assaults. Think about the assaults alone that take place getting through an unlocked door.
Yeah. And they made sure that they talked about that and that too.
Yeah, and it's
Uh,
been legitimate. It's like, that's what I was saying back then. Like, who's to say there wasn't? I mean, it's a dark neighborhood. It's
right.
a really well-to-do neighborhood, and if you're talking about somebody that is in a criminal mind, that's gonna be like, dude, you can literally walk in dark spots. Nobody's gonna be able to see you, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was going around turning door handles to see what door handles were locked or not, and who knows what kind of sick person, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's always been legitimate, and Elizabeth Smart brought up the best point out of everything. You know, when you're looking at the information and you're looking at the evidence or what's there, dude, it tells you that somebody, well, two things: either something happened when the thud took place or when the thud didn't take place, or somebody really did come in the back door. Because
Right.
if he took the trash out, look, man, we all have teenagers, or we've all had teenagers. If you've had one, you know, sometimes they don't lock the frickin' door. I mean, it's just teenager crap. It
Yeah.
happens.
Adults sometimes forget to lock the door.
It happens.
You know, but you get in a hurry.
It happens. So, but yeah, I wanted to go through that and kind of, and then, you know, when it came to this episode, right? This is when, I mean, maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but as far as I remember, this episode was already recorded when they were still, quote, working together before Seth went the F off on the lab, right? Wasn't this recorded back
Yeah.
then?
Yeah, that was, this episode is supposed to be recorded for like a month or two ago.
Yeah. You know, so I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're seeing this, but there was a lot. It was a very telling episode, and I know that there's a lot of people out there that are giving, they're kind of really going at America's Most Wanted really hard for not, how do I say this? For not like really going into it longer, or
Asking the hard questions.
Or that too. You know what I'm saying? And you can't fault them. Number one, they were doing a whole bunch of other cases in that episode. They only have a certain period of time, so the fact that they had Sebastian's case on there, we should be applauding them for that, because they could have picked another kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, they
Okay.
still got his name out there again. You know, made it fresh again in a way.
They could have picked somebody else, and they aired Sebastian. And number two, these people, and it's obvious, you know, and I'm not saying anything bad about any of the people that were on that panel. Okay, don't get me wrong. But the only person that really had extensive knowledge into Sebastian's case is Derek, and that's it. Okay, I'm not saying the other people weren't invested or anything. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is Emily Smart, she's going all over. Like, there's a ton of cases. Like, it's nonstop with her. The other person, the blonde haired dude, I really don't know. Like I said, I don't understand. You got Mr. Walsh. He's out there just as much as Elizabeth Smart. The host is the host. She's obviously not going to be that invested in it to really know. You know what I'm saying? They might know what the intern notes are, and that's probably it. But Derek is really the only one that has really like brought the most attention out of that group right there.
Yeah, is that Walsh guy? Is he related to John Walsh?
Yeah, that's his son, I
That's
believe.
what I was thinking.
Right? I think that's
Yeah.
his son. But yeah, so you can't really be that upset because it's a limited slot, thank God, and I applaud them for being, for having Sebastian's name and case on there.
Right.
And at the same time, they had a certain period of time they could only get to certain things, and you almost saw like when that blonde guy mentioned a theory about how we knew him but didn't really know him. That's an interesting theory, and you could tell, but it's like they couldn't go into it more. And
Yeah.
so it's not that they didn't want to go into it, because trust me, I'm sure if they had a full hour episode, dude, I already know that America's Most Wanted would hammer the hell out of it. They
real deep.
That's right. They would like tell you how it is. They would tell you how it is. And so I don't like seeing people get on America's Most Wanted for that. I didn't understand it. Just be thankful. Just be thankful that Sebastian's case was on there, and that's the important part. So we'll go ahead and go through that if we have time. I have a surprise. I'm not going to mention it. It's a really good surprise, trust me. I'm not going to mention it. It'll just be if we have time, we'll go into it. I want to make sure that you're not feeling like you have to be on like a crazy long time either, Busby. Now, I do want to talk about, because when I was talking about back in May, and I was talking about abduction through video game, abduction because there's a trafficking network there, and Hendersonville is a perfect little spot right outside of a major hub. That's very dark, no street lights. All the trafficking busts and everything that they've released since August and September. When it comes to that specific area, and there was another one that just happened recently, I don't understand. I understand that maybe some people's behaviors are suspicious. Okay, I'm not gonna say they're not, because I've called certain behaviors suspicious from the beginning, but also from May in the beginning. It's also, I've been trying to help people understand how crazy these types of networks are. And this has always been a real possibility when you look at the fact that there was no shoes, no phone, no scent, no trail, no sighting, no article, no nothing. It kind of makes you think about that. Think about it. Like all of the people that have been busted in Hendersonville area just alone, bro, since August or September.
Yeah, there's been a lot of them. Actually, recently there's been some.
You don't think any of those people might have been driving through the neighborhood when a bus was pulling in and said, damn, there's only one access in and out, and look at how dark this neighborhood is? You don't think that they might have went through a bunch of houses, back doors on a Sunday night, trying to see which ones are unlocked? Who knows? Maybe the person that did take Sebastian, because there's only two things that I feel happened. Something happened at the house and it got covered up, or he was taken from an unlocked door and somebody didn't want to fess up and say, I don't know if the door was locked or not.
Right.
And so who knows, maybe if that was the scenario where somebody was checking and peeping and going through back doors and like, oh sweet, I can go in, you know, who knows, maybe that person was already there before the weekend before and the door was locked and they just went back, I'll try again next Sunday. Definitely could be a possibility. There's a lot of creepo people around there, obviously, and you see it with all the news articles about all the bust that's going on just in that area.
My thing is, there's not enough information to actually give a direction on which way to, you know, closer direction on which way something might have happened. You know, I mean, there's still a year later.
Right. Well, this is where it should start to lead you to believe that it was more of an abduction and not something that happened at the house. Because think about all the foot traffic. Remember last summer and we were talking and we were disappointed because there still wasn't any kind of, we were doing more searches, nothing, we weren't coming across anything. And that's when you were like, you brought it up, you're like, it's gonna be hunting season soon and there's gonna be a lot of foot traffic out there.
Yeah,
you remember?
I was praying for that, man.
Remember? So this is what I'm saying. You think about all of that. You think about all the time. You think about all the foot traffic, not only just from hunters, but searchers and boats and drones and all of that stuff. And like you said,
all over.
There's not one thing, right?
No.
There's not one thing. So that should lead people to believe that there was something like an abduction that was part of a trafficking network. Okay. Just like with what happened with Elizabeth Smart. Okay. And I'm glad that they included Elizabeth Smart.
Right.
On the episode, because that's what I feel took place when we were done in that search in May. And I'm like driving on the way back home and I'm like, somebody went in his room and took him.
Yeah. Somebody took him. He met somebody online, and I know all the crap people are saying that he could have never accessed the internet or whatever. It's still possible.
Well, yeah, of course that is, but I don't even think the internet was involved, man. I really feel, look at all the people that are getting busted there, dude. I feel like
online thing anymore.
No, I really feel kind of like what I was bringing up back then about, I mean, the online is always going to be a possibility, but when I was talking about creepos walking through that backyard, it's dark as hell, and somebody could be just jiggling the back doorknobs to see if one of them is unlocked, and then, you know.
And when you live in a county that's got over 200 SOs, I mean, there's so many different possibilities of what could have happened to him. But we know he didn't walk out on his own.
No, and that's why when we're looking at the evidence, because we have a year and a couple months now, a year and 2 months of knowledge of what isn't there, and what isn't there is any kind of article, any kind of trail, any kind of sign, any kind of da 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 da, and that leads me to believe, because you said it can be either or, and I said it can be either or, but what I'm saying right now is I'm in that spot because of time that's showing me, yes, even though some people's actions have been suspicious from the very beginning, we're going to get into those tonight, but at the same time, if something like that did take place, there would be a sign, man.
it would be a sign.
There would be a sign.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm going back to May, and I'm like, it's an abduction. Somebody walked in just like Elizabeth Smart. And I
I,
think that's why they had her on there, is because I really feel that's exactly what took place.
I,
Some dude checked
that,
the back door knob.
I remember you saying that clear as day and me not wanting to believe it. I remember it. I just, I really didn't want to believe that Hendersonville had changed that much, but I've a year later have accepted that, and it's just in your face now that you're looking for it. All the different things that have gone on in Sumner County over the last year is ridiculous.
It's
And
bad.
it's not the
It's bad.
Nashville I grew up in.
It's
Not
so
the
bad.
Nashville I grew up in. But oh my God, so all the changes and everything I just saw last couple days. But I mean, it's the closer I got to Nashville, the more and more I could feel and think about Sebastian again, and it just all came flooding back. All the locations that you and I and Narc have been to, and others, and other people, all the land, all the,
Oh, it's a lot of land, bro.
flipping over rocks and looking through, grass and ditches and culverts and everything else. And there's absolutely no trace of them whatsoever. So a vehicle had to be part of it,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I don't want to get ahead of you, but I'm waiting for you to play this so I can talk about something that one of them said in that.
What the
Just got,
what the flashlights?
no, no, the small town.
Yeah. I mean, I just
Right.
the Elizabeth Smart is what I'm thinking, you know.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. Let me see. I might have to add you here because it's doing something a little different. Oh no, it's being weird, dude. Hold on. Hey, I'm learning, man. I'm trying to figure it out here. All right, so
I don't know if I could put on an avatar or not. It's dark here. You probably really can't see me.
Oh yeah, man. We can see you.
Barely.
Let me see. There we go. So here, I can make your camera a little bigger too. Hold on.
You're good. I'd rather not have people stare at my face. But my phone holder broke, so I'm holding it in my hand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it broke on the trip.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. It's alright, I'll get another one.
Why ain't my screen share working here? Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, so we're gonna check this out. Sorry, it's gonna take me a little bit to get used to it. I finally got everything switched over last night, and finally finished it at like 3 or something in the morning.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's go ahead and so we're gonna watch this. This is the enhanced audio version. Because when it was recording the way it was recording before, it the volume wasn't as high as it should be, you know? Even though like it was I haven't seen anybody do the full screen like we have, but and if you are a member, you get the one like completely full screen, not this one. But I wanted to do it so that way people could actually like turn it down to whatever level they wanted. So
Right.
I made it extra loud on purpose so that way people could turn it down and kind of adjust it to however they wanted to adjust it, because I saw a lot of people using the video, the original one that we put out, and the audio was pretty low.
Oh yeah.
So I went ahead and enhanced it earlier, so there's the enhanced version that's out there. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this. So just let me know at any moment when you want me to pause it, and I'll go ahead and pause it. It's not that long, so I'm sure there's
Yeah, it's
there's
only
ju-
10 and a
huh?
half, I think.
Yeah, it's like 9 minutes or something like that. You know. So we'll go ahead and get into it. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it very much. And yeah, here we go.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening. I'm Harris Faulkner, and this is America's Most Wanted Missing Persons, a new show following the lead of the iconic true crime series. We have one mission: to bring missing loved ones home. Every person you'll see on this screen tonight has someone waiting for them: a parent, a child, a friend, a community that refuses to give up, and neither will we. We've assembled a team of experts who dedicated their lives to solving cases and helping others. Derek Levasseur. You may know him from Big Brother, but he also has worked undercover with the FBI, DEA, and Secret Service. Elizabeth Smart, a survivor and advocate whose abduction recovery was made possible through America's Most Wanted. Payne Lindsay, whose investigative true crime podcast Up and Vanished has brought...
Okay, who is this? Dame Lindsay? What? Hold on.
I thought you said Payne Lindsay.
Payne Lindsay. I've never heard of this. Up and Vanished.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, make sure it's on live chat, not top chat, because it's always defaulting to the other. Yeah, I don't know who this dude is.
Investigative true crime podcast Up and Vanished has brought cold cases back into the national spotlight. And tonight's special guest, Callahan Walsh, a familiar face to America's Most Wanted. Callahan does incredible work with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Thank you so very much, everyone, for joining us. Let's get to our first case now. A missing child, Sebastian Rogers. On February 25th, 2024, Sebastian's mother said goodnight to her 15-year-old son. The next morning, Sebastian was gone.
My name is Dean Juvenile. Me a white male, 30 blonde hair, approximately 5 foot, 120 pounds. I was going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants. Juvenile does have a form of autism.
Just warm her up.
Sebastian is tall and skinny, has a contagious smile, loves video games, loves cats.
Boundless amounts of energy. Sebastian reminds me of a deer prancing through the woods, you know, enjoying the smell, the breeze, new things. That's my son.
I gotta pause it right there. When I heard that, that broke my heart, man.
Yeah, when Seth spoke.
When he said that right there, that
Yeah.
it broke my heart, because you not only think about him just being a kid, but you do think about like a little deer prancing through the woods and shit.
Yep.
You're just like, man, what a description. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, like whether you like him or not, what a great description of your, you know, what a great description.
Exactly.
It's very creative and just a great description. It hits you right here. You're just like, man, that's right. Because all children are, you know, all children are those little.
It's like carefree.
Yeah.
But
Oblivious to the monsters that exist around them, because they're just too innocent, Yeah. So it's like it was I don't know whether you like them or not. That's like it is a really great description. So I just wanted to pause it for that real quick.
February 25th, the day before Sebastian went missing, Chris was in Memphis at work. So Sebastian and I went to Texas Roadhouse.
Boom. So we're gonna tell you right off, and that we're talking about the day he went missing. Why bring up the day before?
Exactly.
The day he went missing. But hey, wait, let me tell you about the day before. This guy was at work. Okay. Now, I'm not saying dude had anything to do with it. Listen, the person that is the most suspicious out of anybody has always been KP. From the first time I heard about the Sebastian Rogers case, the first day that I was looking it up, trying to figure out like what, because people were like, you gotta go search for Sebastian, while I'm down there in Nashville looking for Riley, and I'm like, who's this Sebastian that everybody's asking me to go look for? And so it's like, well, it's on my way back from Nashville. I might as well check it out sometime. And then so then when I first looked it up and I got, here's the first day here, and I'm looking at it just from right then. I'm like, wow, that's suspicious as hell. The mom.
Yeah, she's I'll just go ahead and say it. She's my number one suspect.
I mean, think about any of these other missing child cases.
Yeah.
Think about any of these other cases where somebody goes missing, whether they're a child or an adult. The person that last seen them usually knows or has some kind of idea or something.
Yeah, never mind, I probably should not say some things.
Who gives a shit, dude?
But yeah, she's been my number one.
I mean, it's just the way it's analytics, bro.
Yeah, since day one.
She was the last person to see him alive. And I'm sorry. When let's be honest, what if you're sitting down in front of law enforcement and they're interviewing you, right?
Yeah.
About your alibi. All right. And you give them 5 different versions. What the hell is that going to tell them, bro?
Yeah, you can't get your fucking story straight.
That's right. You can't get your fucking story straight.
Why
can't you get your story straight?
Because you're lying. But
there you go. Lying about something.
Yeah.
It could be something as small as lying about the back door not being locked. Really? Because from the very beginning, she said all the doors were locked. They've always said the doors were locked. I thought doors were locked too. And then I'd wake up the next morning or go later, that night to switch laundry or something. The next thing I know, I'm like, damn, she didn't lock it. And I asked her if she locked it. It happens.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't just kaboom. Didn't just do it. Didn't just bounce. It didn't happen.
No.
So, hey, I'm gonna let you know. Let me precursor to what I'm gonna get to and let you know this guy didn't have anything to do with it. Now, that's good for him, because regardless of how he was to me back then, because look, I'm just trying to look for your stepson, and I was even saying on my shit that I needed permission, and then you're saying that shit that you were saying to me, like, dude,
right?
You obviously didn't hear what I was saying, and you obviously didn't check it out, because if you would have did your shit, you would have figured out CJ never said that shit, and CJ ain't about that shit, right?
Yeah, he didn't fucking listen to nothing and check it out himself.
No,
all he did was fucking listen to some other keyboard warrior on YouTube.
Right. Which wasn't even the truth. So it's like, bro, You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even do. And so it's like that. Listen, I don't. She can do that all she wants. Because honestly,
Yeah.
if dude was at work, which, people are like, but I'm just going to say, dude was at work. All right. So if dude's at work, what the hell did he do down there? Listen, if something happened, it happened because of her.
Man, since day one following this case was about the same time you started following it, there's only one phrase that makes sense. And it came right out of CP's mouth. He said, verbatim, I am only protecting my wife.
There you go.
Now, he
There you
wouldn't
go.
have said that for any other reason. There's no other reason for him to say that exact phrase other than he's protecting his wife because something happened, if it was pre-planned or not, and he's only protecting his wife.
Yeah, and if you've been protecting your wife, if she did something, well, then your ass is gonna go too, or you just get a plea deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
but I would honestly think, think about it, dude. What if, put yourself in this situation, right? You're a stepdad, you're working a few hours down south, whatever's going on at home is going on at home. All right? You're a stepdad, you're working down south, and your wife, all of a sudden, oh my God, he's missing. Now, if you found out that she had something to do with it and you were protecting your wife, don't you think eventually you'd come out and spill the beans, man? Because you would already know, hey, if I'm protecting her because I know she did something to him, well, then I'm almost just as guilty as her. So that would give anybody an incentive, especially, that would give anybody an incentive to be like, look, I love you, but you did this shit. I didn't do it.
Yeah. Unless he
Right?
got in too deep.
Like helping out or whatever, of course.
Yeah.
But do you think, okay, you heard the stories about how their shit was on the rocks before this happened. Do you
Yes.
think that he's gonna, like, let's be real, do you think that dude is gonna put all that on the line for some shit he was about ready to leave anyway?
No, I wouldn't.
No, he'd let her sink.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the easier way to get rid of her. I don't have to go to a lawyer.
Yep. Unless she had shit on him for something else.
So this is what I'm saying. Like, it's almost, if he was protecting her like that, I would imagine by now he would have had some kind of secret conversations with some kind of law enforcement, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, somebody's getting cuffs on him because by now.
Yeah.
And where's the investment for him to go that far to include himself if something bad took place? Where's the investment from? You got to think, not today, but the investment from the day that Sebastian was leaving, if things really were going as bad as what's being reported or was being reported back then.
Yeah, unless she has some kind of shit on him that he don't want nobody to know. I mean, that would be the only thing, She's got shit on him for something that she's like, if you say anything, I'll tell him blah blah blah.
I don't know, dude. This is why I brought up the whole stuff about how he was to me back then, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
this is what I'm saying. Even with how he was to me back then, when I was just trying to look for his stepson, I'm because of time, because time is showing what's there and what's not there. Because of time, I honestly feel if something did take place inside that home, he don't know nothing about it, bro.
Yeah.
I really feel like if something did take place inside that home, she did it herself.
Yeah.
She
She
did
did
it
it.
herself. Because I'm looking at it as time's going by and I'm like, so who knows?
She did it herself, or she had somebody else help her other than him.
I'm just saying, we're going to get into this, and I know we're going to talk about it, and this is kind of why I'm leading into it, like with this conversation too, is because we're going to see that another story changed, right?
Yep.
You hear Derek bring up the thud, but you don't hear her bring up no thud. Remember when I told you guys when we were going back in December and January, and I was asking people to put pressure on the investigative agencies for Sebastian Rogers to come out with a real last scene? Okay?
Yeah.
Right? The real last scene, and I kept going back to Sumner County Commissioner, his post from the day that it took place, and he basically, it's like he gave it to you from a report from a police officer that was interviewing her. How all this, the hey, keep it down, all this other stuff, right? Then all of a sudden stories started changing. Oh, are you okay? Yeah, love you, Mom. All sorts of stuff started changing. It started getting softer. You listen to what she says in this interview right here. It's almost like going back to the very beginning, but without the thud.
It sure is.
It is. How many times are you gonna listen? That day should be engraved in your mind, etched in stone.
Yeah.
And when you're gonna sit there and be asked the same question, what's the question? It's the easiest damn question, period. What happened that day? That's it. It's the same damn question. And when you can answer that question different ways, and I mean different as I'm gonna leave this out because it don't look good anymore, or I'm gonna put this in because it makes it look like everything was okay when it wasn't. Because when you talk about what you put out before and what you just said I'm glad she said this on this America's Most Wanted episode, because people needed to hear. You didn't hear the thud, and I want to say shout out and thank God for Derek bringing up the thud, because the national exposure was going to hear just the part without the thud, and Derek came in there and brought the thud to the national media, and so they're going to be like, wait a minute. So they're going to go look at all these other interviews from KP, and they're going to start to see, oh my gosh, she said this on this one. She said this in this one, but she's leaving out, putting in, switch, just flipping everything around.
Yeah, she can't keep her shit straight, man.
No.
And there's a problem with that. There's a big problem with that.
There is, because a lot of the times I'm going to look up and go, when I'm stuck.
Yep.
And what really was telling was when they did that interview on the 1-year anniversary, and we watched it before anybody else. It broke and we had it early, and we were sitting there watching it, and I said, holy crap, he woulda.
Oh yeah.
He woulda. He woulda. He woulda what? He turned 16. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Dude, it's like I said, you put that in front of an investigator. Come on now, that's rookie shit. They're gonna go, no, this don't make sense.
Yeah, that's one of the big fuck ups that she did.
So maybe CP, as much as what he did to me before, I don't give a shit. That's not what it's about. What it's about
Right.
is analytics, and I'm looking at the analytics, and to me, it looks like CP doesn't even know shit about nothing.
I'm gonna say what I've been saying for the last year, man, and that is, it is not illegal to be an asshole. You know, the guy would be the biggest asshole in the world and still didn't do anything.
Maybe he wants to believe that she really didn't do it from the bottom of his heart, and that's why he's pissed off. And I mean, listen, whose story is changing nonstop?
Yeah.
The last person that's seen him. It's not rocket science.
Who's the only one to plead the fifth?
Who's the one that keeps changing the story? Just like this one.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad. All right, let me go back to the beginning here. We'll get into it. We'll skip the introductions. Thank you all for being here. I know I'm probably shocking some of you, but listen, time goes by. It shows you what's there, what's not there. It's all based off of analytics, and I'm sitting here going, okay, the less that you see, the more you can chip away. And I'm sorry, it's either somebody did what happened to Elizabeth Smart, like I've been saying since last spring, summer, or also from when I'm sitting there going from the beginning, this don't make no sense. But now that you hear all these different statements and versions, it's like, hello? And I could definitely, I mean, think about it. Dude was down south for 3 hours, right? Something happens at home, right?
Right.
You don't think she could have went somewhere and did a Steven Stearns?
Yeah. There's plenty of places.
It can happen. Yes, exactly. This is what I'm saying. This should be etched in your mind. So when somebody asks you the same question, what happened that day? It's like clockwork. It's etched in your mind. You can't forget because it's engraved. It's scratched into your soul.
Right.
Like, come on. You're gonna. So when it's all over the place, was it a Butterfinger? Was it a Snickers? Was it a Three Musketeers? Which was it? Come on. All
Man,
right.
I remember a year ago when you and Trey and I were out there. I remember everything we did. So if I can remember that, why can't she remember everything happened?
Right?
Besides the fucking colossal popcorn. You know, and it was a good day. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I wished I was an investigator. I'd sit her down in the room with me by herself.
Well, this is what people don't understand, okay? When it and you can look it up. When it comes to a lot of these missing persons cases, and you can look you can look a whole bunch of them up and you'll find out the same thing. A lot of these missing persons cases have a person of interest. The problem is they don't have, and it's most of these cases too.
Oh yeah.
They don't have that little teeny piece that they can get to bring them in to then break them down. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's the way it is with most of these missing cases. There's always a suspicious individual. They just don't have that piece to be able to bring them in to break them down.
Circumstantial cases, from what I understand, are the hardest ones to win. You know, you've got to have a lot for a circumstantial case. Now, if they had, let's say, Sebastian
Uh-oh.
I don't know if the kid's alive.
Say it again, buddy.
If they had Sebastian, if they found him or his body, if they found him alive or not alive, then they would have clues to what happened more in a better direction, and they would probably have a better understanding and probably proof to bring someone in, is what I'm saying. When you have a circumstantial case, you got to prove a lot more.
Well, that's one reason why they haven't.
Yeah.
It's and honestly, also I have to be honest here too. It's like I said a little bit ago. As much as I'm talking about Chris, I'm also talking about Katie, because again, like I said way earlier,
Yep.
what time is showing me is that something like what happened to Elizabeth Smart is what took place, regardless of all the suspicious actions.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
really, I'm. It's like I know I've been saying it since last May. That as each day goes, it's the more I get closer to the something like Elizabeth Smart happening. I really do.
Right.
I really do. There would be something, and in a lot of different ways too.
Right.
In a lot of different ways. All right, so we'll get into this, but yeah, you can see now. Listen, you'll see when she starts talking about that day. Remember, and I'll get the statement that the Sumner County Commissioner put out, so you can see what I'm saying. It sounds like what was said back then, just without the aggressive talk. Keep it down. You almost hear she was pretty aggressive. I was surprised she was that honest in this interview, because you could tell when she was telling her side, you could sit there and go, damn, that was kind of aggressive. If your child made a noise late at night before bed,
right,
most parents would go check on them, but then you're hearing her, she was being honest a little bit. No thud though. All right, here we go.
Morning, Sebastian was gone.
My name is Dean Juvenile. Me a white male, 3 blonde hair, approximately 5 foot, 100 ton down. I was going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants. You know, those have a form of autism.
Just warm her up.
Sebastian is tall and skinny, has a contagious smile, loves video games, loves cats.
Boundless amounts of energy. Sebastian reminds me of a deer prancing through the woods, enjoying the smell, the breeze, new things. That's my son.
February 25th, the day before Sebastian went missing, Chris was in Memphis at work. So Sebastian and I went to Texas Roadhouse. After dinner, right around 9 o'clock, he laid down. I heard a noise in his room. I said, I don't care what you're doing, but you gotta knock it off and you gotta go to bed. And he answered, yes, ma'am. And I said, okay. And that was the last time that I spoke with Sebastian. The next morning, when I went in his room, he wasn't in his bed. After a minute or two, when I couldn't find him, I called Chris and I said, I can't find Sebastian. He's not in the house.
I got off of work and I had a text message from Sebastian's stepfather.
I said, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but Sebastian's missing.
Okay. I don't know how to tell you this, but
wrong.
But Sebastian's missing. Now I thought I remembered him saying, don't be mad.
Exactly.
Don't be mad.
Yeah. Completely different answer than what he said 8 months ago or whatever.
Don't be mad. So that's one thing that stuck out to me. Same. Yep. I'm sure same for you too, bro.
And I may be splitting hairs here, but then she paused and she said, and that's the last time I spoke to Sebastian.
Yeah.
Now, I might be splitting hairs, but did she not speak to him but seen him? Because she said spoke to him.
Because she spoke to him through the door.
Yeah.
She didn't bother to go look.
Yeah. But she didn't say that's the last time I seen him, which is what I was expecting her to say.
I mean, she didn't really see him. She spoke to him through the door, which she should have seen him. She should have got up and checked, especially with his condition. You know what I'm saying? You hear a loud thump. Even if there is no condition, you hear a loud thump.
That's what I was going to say.
Huh?
I was just going to say the exact same thing you did. Even if he didn't have a condition, you still went and checked.
Well, this is it's just like, you know, when I've talked about the thud back in the beginning. I brought up this scenario. Remember, Chris was having to stay on the phone with her so she could stay awake to do her schoolwork, right? So just because you're on the phone with somebody, okay, if you're doing homework and you're trying to stay up and really the person on the other end of the phone is just going to be like, hey babe, you still up?
Yeah.
Hey babe, you still up? Because you're not going to sit there and talk about what kind of ice cream you're going to go get on Saturday afternoon while you're trying to figure out your homework. You got to be focused. So there would be a lot of quietness. So I could see Chris just hanging out on the phone. Babe, you still up? Babe, you still up? Now, when you paint that kind of situation and you already know what's taking place, that's why I said she literally could have passed out on the damn couch, and the thud wasn't a thud that's something that Sebastian did. It was the thud sound when somebody was walking out the back door and shut the back door as they were leaving with Sebastian. And she wants to say that Sebastian was in his room. That's why I just said something through the door, because I can't. Did you see him? No. Well, then you're already going to get found out. But if you said, yeah, I said something through the door and I heard him say da da da, in your mind, you could tell yourself, well, I know it's not true, but I think I might have heard him. So then you're kind of telling yourself that, you know, the lie, right? So you can kind of make it believable to yourself.
Exactly.
But I really feel like the thud sound could have been somebody that was, you're not going to hear a thud when they're coming in. You're passed out so bad on the couch, somebody could just walk right by you, and who knows? Somebody could have been standing there at the couch while the other person was going to get Sebastian, just to make sure if you woke up, you were going to have a weapon in your face. Okay? So then she didn't wake up. Next thing you know, these people are rushing out the back door, and they're not going to worry about if it makes noise or not, because they're trying to get the F out of there with him. So that's where you hear the thud. Oh, I woke up, but the door's shut. Oh, I woke up, I heard a thud. You okay? Don't hear nothing. I bet you she looked in the damn room.
I bet she did too.
But when it comes to telling people the story, she can't say, yeah, I saw him because I went and checked on him, because then that's a complete lie. But she could tell people, well, I asked him if he was okay through the door, because you can literally tell yourself a damn lie and make yourself believe it and go, oh, I thought I heard him say something back, even though you know damn well that he didn't. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
While you're tired and you're falling asleep and you're not, you know, and
what's up, buddy? Uh-oh, I think he's dropping out, maybe.
Yep. Am I?
No, you're good now. I can hear you now. What were you saying?
I was like, I mean, as she's falling asleep, trying to do her homework, she's falling asleep. She's getting tired. Who knows if she had a glass of wine or something else, to relax her, and all of her sensors are not there 100%, So,
I mean, she already needed dude to be on the phone to keep her up. So that tells you right there
yep.
how tired she was. So, and if you're just trying to keep somebody awake for homework, you're not going to be trying to have a deep conversation with them, because then they're not going to be able to do their homework. So just as a person on the other end, you're just going to be there to just check every 5 or 10 minutes, hey, are you awake? Yeah, I'm awake. Oh, okay.
I want to know what kind of homework it was and what for and how she did on it.
Who knows? I don't know. She quit doing all that when all this took place. So
yeah. So why homework?
Yeah. Let me. All right. So I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna find that Sumner County Commissioner. Yeah. I'm gonna find that so you can hear what she's saying. Then I'll show you what was put out there in the very beginning.
9 o'clock, he laid down. I heard a noise in his room. I said, I don't care what you're doing, but you got to knock it off and you got to go to bed. And he answered, yes, ma'am. And I said, okay. And
I don't care what you're doing, but you got to knock it off and go to bed. Now we'll check that out here in a second. That post from back then. Pause.
That was the last time that I spoke with Sebastian. The next morning, when I went in his room, he wasn't in his bed. After a minute or two, when I couldn't find him, I called Chris, and I said, I can't find Sebastian. He's not in the house.
I got off of work, and I had a text message from Sebastian's stepfather.
I said, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but Sebastian and Benson.
I headed straight over to their house.
I started driving through the neighborhood. I was panicking. I was looking everywhere. Like, where is he? What happened? Did he go with someone? Did someone take him by the time I pulled?
So what would make you think right in the beginning that he would have went somewhere or somebody took him?
Yeah, that's...
My first thought would be, where'd he run to?
Stuff over the last year.
Huh?
We've heard a lot of things over the last year.
Yeah. But you make it down the street and you're already, who took him?
Right. Yeah. What made you go to that first? I would have went, where'd he go?
Yeah, where'd he run? That's what I'm thinking right off. Because what would lead you to believe that
it was taken?
Oh, you woke up that morning and found out that the back door was really unlocked. That's what would lead you to that.
That would be very possible.
That's what would lead you to it. Because honestly, seriously, you wake up, you can't find him. Okay. If the doors are locked, you can't find him. Doors are locked. You first make it down the street because you can see in this video, it looked like she was driving down right there, the Kellen Lane, to get onto the main road. So to me, I'm sitting there, oh, okay, if you're in that area and you're already thinking that somebody took him, well, then that means that when you woke up, kind of like I was bringing up before, you thought the door was locked. You don't want to tell anybody that the door was left unlocked, because obviously then it's going to be like, well, something happened inside the house. Not he ran away with no shoes, right? They're
Yeah.
automatically going to say, well, something happened in the house if the back door was accidentally unlocked. So she don't want to tell people that the back door is unlocked, but that's the only thing that would lead you in your mind. Let's talk analytics. It's the only thing that would lead you in your mind to sit there and go, I think somebody took him, because if you wake up and you notice your back door is unlocked, you're like, shit.
Yep. And then they went on for months about nothing. Everything was locked. He didn't know how to use this, or he didn't go out that door. And
Yeah, no.
they focused on the keypads and
No. Anybody can hit that little switch as they're walking out the door. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, I don't even think that anybody did that. And it's like I've been saying from back then, I bet the back door was left unlocked.
Mhm.
Whether she did it on accident, or he was supposed to lock it when he came back in from taking the garbage out, whatever, it was left unlocked. And that's why I said she wasn't planning on falling asleep on the couch, because then she would have went up to probably check to see if the door was locked or not before she went back to her bedroom. But when she got up, I don't even think she went to check it, because you can already tell from what she said to Sebastian, she was already in a shitty, crabby mood.
Yep.
Right? So she's last thing she's gonna think, I just want to get to the bedroom. I just want to go to bed.
Yeah, whatever noise you just made woke me up, and now I'm pissed.
I really feel like she woke up that morning. Always felt this way. Woke up that morning, the back door was unlocked, and she went, shit, I can't say. I can't even tell Chris that the back door was accidentally left unlocked. I bet that's where the lie started. Was that as soon as Chris was asking, well, no, all the doors were locked. I think the lie started with him, and then it just ballooned to everywhere.
Yep.
You don't think somebody took your kid at this part right here unless that back door was left unlocked. Because other than that, you're going to think that he left. He walked out.
Yep.
And he didn't walk out.
And then she changed the story to, I don't know why he walked out that door.
Yeah, he didn't walk out. So that this part was a lot of show too. I'm just saying.
Yep.
There's only, the most suspicious out of anybody, and you can look at any case, any missing case, and just look at the analytics. It's not about who, it's about what.
Already telling me to turn around because the authorities were on their way.
They used helicopters, they used drones, they used ATVs, horseback.
An extensive search didn't yield one significant lead or even a glimpse of the boy on any doorbell cam video. Days later, investigators combed through a landfill, still saying they had found nothing.
We have nothing.
Did you hear somebody said that they took a mattress out of the landfill that day? Did you hear that?
I've heard.
What the fuck, dude? What the hell?
Yeah.
Like, really? They didn't take no damn mattress out. I can tell you right now, I talked to one of the officers that was there for when that landfill search was taking place, because she was one of the people that was set up for that area from the local police department to kind of, just stand back and make sure that they could do their job. Okay. She said they didn't even take nothing. They didn't even take a freaking piece of paper with them, you guys. Not even a piece of paper. And now it's being put out there that they took a mattress from the landfill. What the fuck, dude? There's so many people that are just trying to... I don't understand it. It does not help. It does not help this missing persons case when people are constantly putting bullshit out there. So then that just adds more hurdles to try and find Sebastian, when we are already behind time in the first place because we're trying to catch up. I don't understand the hurdles, bro. I'm just like, I'm
There's
just sitting there.
a
Where'd they get this information from? Like, really? Are they believing the goose chase tips that you get in
yeah,
fucking emails, bro?
and
Come
now
on.
there's a recent video out from a creator that you and I both know, saying that the dogs that were in the dump were electronics sniffing dogs.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Like I said, when there's no updates, bro,
yeah, I know. People make up their own shit.
we could. Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody's brought up aliens yet.
Dude, but this is the thing, and I don't understand. These people think that they're helping, and they're not. They're just adding more hurdles
Oh yeah,
for no reason. Just, I mean, this is why, dude. Like, is true crime is completely different nowadays. It's your latest soap opera,
yep.
and that's what brings in the donations.
The click.
Is your latest soap opera every day or every night. And unfortunately, these people are just using these victims and these families to do this, and it's just, dude,
Not helping anything but them.
it's horrible, man. It's these, and they never mind.
I'm
gonna
still
keep my
waiting
mouth
for
shut.
back to Sebastian. You know.
Well, and that's why this is what we're talking about. You know, the Sebastian stuff. So.
Yep.
Eesh.
We just
I
have
know.
speculations.
Oh, sorry, man.
I know, man. It's heartbreaking.
I just need to keep my mouth shut. That's why I didn't do shows for a couple weeks there, because I was like, I'm just gonna go the f off on it all, honestly,
Yeah, trying to
because
filter myself too. So
this isn't what this isn't what it was meant to be.
right.
This is not what it was meant to be for, and people have turned it into a soap opera.
Yep.
And it's all because they're worried about the donations, and
Yeah.
it's one
Yeah.
thing. I don't know. It's just sad, dude. It's discouraging and it's sad. And when you care, you just want to go the f off, because it's like, man, they're using real fucking victims, man. You know, for this shit. It's gonna piss me off if I keep talking about it. So I'm gonna get back to this, bro. If you don't mind, because I'll say some shit.
It's fucking unbelievable.
It's disgusting. Is
You know.
what it is. It's disgusting, and it'll never get better. It'll always get worse, because that's what social media is. So we'll just do us. We'll continue to do us like we always do, and
Yeah.
it is what it is. You know, that's
The
we'll
only
never,
the only thing on our minds is him.
or any of these people that we discuss. It's just,
Oh yeah.
I'm not. We could come out with all sorts of theories and ideas all day to fill shows up with it nonstop, and it's just not.
Did you see the post about the new missing kid or guy that was in Nashville recently?
No.
A Canadian hockey player went downtown to one of the bars that Riley went to and doesn't remember a very large portion of events.
Yeah.
And was found, thankfully, alive, but missing his wallet and a bunch of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or missing the cash in his wallet, but not his ID.
Yeah, they have an operation down there, dude.
Yeah.
When I went down there looking for Riley, there's 4. I'm not gonna say it due to legal reasons.
Yeah.
But there's specifically 4 bars.
Yep.
That They have people that it's a group of people where they have people on the inside that are chilling there drinking drinks and doing the stuff on the inside, and then they communicate with the people on the outside. And once, because you only have to go 2 blocks and you're already in a completely different atmosphere, and once they pass that barrier,
Yeah,
that's where that stuff takes place. So yeah, it's a little operation that they have going on down there.
I know exactly what you're talking about. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The operation, it was pretty wild too. A lot of the community down there, when I was down there, that's why a lot of the community was so when the Riley strain thing was happening. That's why a lot of the community down there was coming out. And I mean, there was so many people, like every day there was like 4 or 5 people that were coming up to talk to me about that kind of stuff and how it needed to stop, and how everybody knows what's going on down there that's a local, but there's so many tourists down there that they just have no idea, and the city's not doing anything to warn people about it or to guide people in the right direction, and
right.
because they don't want to create a bad negative light on the tourists, so then it won't affect it, so then they
Yeah,
don't talk about it, and the community is just fed up because they're like, back then they were like that, we're tired of it, we're tired of it.
I made a whole freaking novel on Nick Barris's post on Facebook. You know, my thoughts and opinions.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's gonna be until they become honest with the situation and not worry
Yeah,
about the tourism, because these are people's lives, but there's so many people coming in and out that they're only there for a day or two, and they're back home, and they don't have time to fully dig into whatever. So
yep.
until they're honest with it, it's just going to keep happening, and it's just going to get worse. It's up
It,
to the elected officials to make sure that the problem gets taken care of, and
yeah,
unfortunately they
and
don't
it's
care.
not just there. That's just the focus of the area that a lot of us been talking about, but it's everywhere, and people just need to put and make sure they keep themselves on a swivel and stay alert when you're out. If you go to the bathroom, take your drink with you.
Or just finish it before you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, that and the elected officials, they don't care, because that's how they keep their jobs, is the money that comes in. So
yep,
it'll take a real elected official that doesn't care about getting reelected to make a change, and it just won't happen
yeah,
until then. So all right, let's get back to this interview here. So they're talking about so somebody's out there saying that there's a mattress that, no, I talked to a law enforcement officer that was there that morning.
yeah.
She said it wasn't even really like an effective landfill search either. So
Oh, it didn't even look like it.
it don't, and they didn't take anything. So
Yeah.
We have nothing. We just have speculations. We get criticized. The father gets criticized. Law enforcement's been criticized.
Online sleuths are really analyzing videos and creating their own theories.
Sebastian is putting something in his pocket.
Surveillance footage from a neighbor shows 2 people outside of Sebastian's house that night. Something happened.
Tonight marks 1 year since Sebastian Rogers disappeared near Beach High School in Sumner County.
My life is not the same without my son. He's not here, and he's somewhere. Someone has him.
This year has been the worst nightmare I could have imagined come alive.
okay, so. And man, it's so hard seeing Seth like this, because this is the most broken down I've ever seen him. Now, I heard that they didn't record it at their house.
That's what I heard too.
So what's up?
I heard they didn't want it recorded at their house.
What's up with the backdrop? Fake plants and all this other shit. Like, what's the? Why not
Yeah.
just do it in a park or something? What's up with the fake backdrop?
Who knows?
Yeah, it was just weird. It was like, okay, you don't want to do it at home, but we're at an Airbnb instead or something. What?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, look, the kitchen shot.
Yeah.
Are we at an Airbnb? Like, what's going on?
Right.
That, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not going to do it at home, fine. Don't do it at home. What's up? Thank you for hopping in. If you're not going to do it at home, don't do it at home. That's fine. But what? We're going to have a fucking Airbnb backdrop?
Yeah, or they were at an Airbnb or something, or a hotel or something. But
why not do it at the park? Why not do it at the high school? Why not? You know what I'm? Do it in the wood, like you're right outside the wooded area. You're at the pond where the dog jumped in. What?
Yeah.
We're doing it at an Airbnb. I don't know. Just make it make sense.
Yeah, I know. A lot of dramatic, theatrical stuff.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense. All right, here we go. Here's some more of it. It's just we're in a kitchen about to cook some hot dogs. Okay.
This year has been the worst nightmare I could have imagined come alive.
Just wants whoever has him, just give him back.
Oh my gosh, that face right there, man. That's what I'm saying. This is the most, as much as he's treated us like shit too. Well, me. Because, you know, you guys are cool, but whatever.
I saw that exact same face whenever I met him at the vigil.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got that face instead of a dirty, mean mug look instead.
Yeah. Oh. He wasn't going to approach me. I approached him and made sure he knew I was there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the man's broken.
Yeah, it's the most I've seen him broken, and you can tell, like, from the underneath the eyes, it's not just one puff, it's two puffs, bro. You see the two puffs? Normally there's one puff and then you got the bags. Okay. Normally there's one puff, one puffy, then you got the bags, but right where the bags would be is another puffy, man.
Yeah.
And that is what I mean, like, you can tell the dude is like crazy broke. Like,
he ain't sleeping.
No.
He ain't sleeping. He told me himself, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I just want to find my son.
Yeah. I would too.
You know?
That it would dominate your thoughts like crazy.
Yeah.
It would have to. If you really did, you know, care. But yeah, it's like you're seeing this, and the double puffy is just, that really shows you.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yep. The double puffy is something you don't see on KP or CP.
Well, it makes me worried, dude. All right.
Oh, I'm serious for him.
It makes me worry because, you know, when you're doing a lot of missing people's cases, and unfortunately, I hate even saying this, but it's the truth. When you do a lot of these missing people's cases, and sometimes the family members, the how can I say this? The health overtakes them.
Right.
Is a good way for me to put it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm worried, bro, because
yeah.
I hope, you know, I don't know if he's got some kind of insurance. I don't know if he's got some kind
Yeah.
of medical coverage.
I'm
But
more about his mental health also, man.
well, that's automatic. I'm saying I'm looking at him like health wise, and because mental health is going to be automatic as soon as it happens.
Yeah,
You, you know,
or two.
but this right here, this is, you know, you got past the birthday, the year anniversary. Now you're moving into this. You're seeing like
Yeah.
the, how can I say this? The landmarks is
Yep.
what keeps you pushing. Okay.
Right.
The landmarks is what keeps you pushing. But the landmarks also mess with your health. Okay. And when you're talking about not getting any sleep, you're talking about the emotions with it. You're talking about, you know, it's probably, there's probably not the most healthy eating. You're
No.
talking about you're not getting sleep, you're not getting the nutrients and the rest that your body needs, and it's no fault of anybody because you're in that position where your child's missing. I 100% get it. I'm just seeing him right now, and I've seen family members of other missing children or loved ones get to a certain point health wise where the health takes over and their bodies take over. And I'm seeing when I'm looking, I'm when you're seeing the stuff underneath the eyes, like I said, normally you see one puff and then there's the bags. When you're seeing two puffs, bro, that's the circulation is not happening, bro. You see you see where I'm getting?
Oh yeah.
The circulation isn't happening. Because the water's not moving in your body, the blood's not moving the way it should in your body. It doesn't have the nutrients to create that kind of movement in your body, and then your body's going in overdrive because of the lack of rest and all that. And I'm just, I hope he has somebody medically a professional that can.
Not only that, but see his underneath his cheeks, the line that goes down towards his goatee. He didn't have that before. You know, it's like his body is trying to consume all the water that it has in his body.
It's not good. When your body's not moving, and because you have to think about it, when your blood's not moving and the water's not moving, think about what it's doing to your liver and your kidneys as well. Not just your heart. Obviously your heart, because that means that your heart is not working like it's supposed to.
Right.
Okay? The heart's not working like it's supposed to, then it's going to start to affect other organs like your kidneys and your liver, especially your kidneys, because the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to start to have kidney issues.
Yep.
Because your kidneys, this is why it's important for everybody to drink a lot of water, is because your kidneys need a lot of water in order to filter all the other stuff out of your body. And if you're constantly giving your kidneys junk to filter the junk from your it's not a good combination. After time, your kidneys will shut down because they'll get so full of toxic, and then your kidneys start to shut down. It's just I've seen it and I'm like, damn, man, this is the most I've seen it. You see the two puffy. I just hope that there's some kind of medical professional that can, when you see it, you gotta just say, hey man, just prayers.
Yeah.
Not that he listens to any of us, but hopefully somebody out there will because it's just look it up. You can look it up and look up the symptoms and you'll see what it causes: your stroke and heart attacks and all sorts of stuff, man. It ain't no down. Yeah, because your body's not, your heart's working too much, it's not able to get the fluids to go where they need to get to, and then next thing you know, there's a clot, or there's a bunch of possibilities that could take place. All right, here we go.
I could have imagined to come alive.
Just wants whoever
Mark.
has him. Just give him back. It's my son.
Wow, that dad. You can feel it.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about theories now.
She didn't say nothing about the mom, did she? She just said, damn, the dad.
Yeah.
That's another thing I noticed too.
Yep.
Just talked about the dad.
Feel it. So we want to talk about theories now, Payne, and what might have happened with Sebastian. What are your thoughts?
I mean, here's his house. They searched miles outside of that neighborhood for days. Helicopters on the ground. They even drained a lake. He's nowhere. I don't think Sebastian would have gone outside on his own. There's someone else involved here. Somebody who was familiar to him, but a stranger to everyone else.
We also have to consider he could have left on his own volition. We know children on the autism spectrum tend to wander. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, nearly half of all children on the autism spectrum will go missing at some point from their environment.
Wow.
But I think something caused him to flee his home. Was that into the open arms of a predator, or was there a roaming predator that just happened to see Sebastian walking down?
Okay, that's where I kind of have to disagree. Huh?
You have to disagree?
Yeah, I have to disagree a little bit. Because you hear what Seth says about Sebastian and shoes, and I just, listen, if somebody lured him out there,
he'd have had shoes.
He would have had shoes.
Yeah. The other thing that they misspoke about was they didn't drain a lake, they drained a pond.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and listen, they're dealing with a whole bunch, and it's just like Coffin Daffer. I'm just going to read off my intern notes and act like I know the exact information. That's not this case here, because these people really are doing a gazillion people's cases at the same time. This is something that they got introduced to, and you'll hear Derek kind of say that they did kind of lean on him a little bit when it came to Sebastian's story. And so shout out to Derek, man. I can't say enough about him, and he's a class act guy. And we'll be checking out his episode that he did here in a little bit here. So this is them kind of discussing it at the round table, and Elizabeth Smart and Derek, I feel like we're the most important people when it came to this story being on America's Most Wanted last night. Obviously, Walsh for the recognition. I don't know what the blonde dude's doing there, honestly. But definitely these two right here. I hope they can get together, because he said if it does good that they're going to do some more. So I really hope that Derek and Elizabeth can get together and really do a lot of stuff together for Sebastian, because I feel like those two will get the job done. I really feel like the blonde guy, he's just going to create more hurdles, because I get, I'm not challenging your smarts or anything. I'm just saying it doesn't appear that you really know too much about this case. No fault of your own. But you don't want to act like you know a lot about it either, because then you're going to create more hurdles for other people that are already going to be like, look, this was already something that we checked out last March or a year and a month ago. Like that. No, we need to stay focused on the task. So
down through the neighborhood. And to me, one thing that stands out is his shoes. He always wore his shoes according to his mom.
Right.
Yeah. She shared a story that as a younger boy, he walked through a pile of dirt, turned out to be a bed of fire ants. And
see, that was the dad. That was Seth that came out with that story. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Derek was the most knowledgeable, did the most, but Elizabeth, with her story and how things happen, she brings a lot of value to the topic of Sebastian because of that taking place, because a lot of people aren't putting that as a serious consideration. It's Katie did something or whatever, but really with how it happened with her parents literally woke up the next morning and she was gone out of her bedroom. Same thing like Sebastian. And they can get found because, I mean, how many years went by and then somebody saw her? I think the tip came from America's Most Wanted, and that's how they were able to find her with that older couple. It was crazy.
Had a thing about always wearing his socks
Are
and
you there?
shoes. I can't think.
Yeah.
I keep freezing. I don't know what's going on.
Do you? Well, it's not StreamYard, so I don't know if maybe...
It's weird because I got 4 bars.
Yeah.
It just keeps cutting out. That one was the longest.
How long is it cutting out for, man?
2 or 3 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I tried messaging and back chat, but...
Oh, there's a back chat. Oh, shoot, there is a back chat in here.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, man.
You're good. I'm back now.
All right. We'll go. I guess you can't tell me if you're cutting out because you're cutting out when you cut out. So you can't even tell me if you do.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it scrolling in the bottom of the screen. I saw people still chatting in chat, but I just couldn't hear you at all.
Oh, okay. So you just couldn't hear me, but you could see the chat and you could see the program.
I could see the timer still counting down, and I could see the.
It's probably my end then.
I could see the banner scrolling, but
it might be my end then. I don't know. But at least you can. So even if you don't hear me, it's fine.
Yeah, we're all good.
All right, here we go.
That a 15-year-old child would get up in the middle of the night and leave without his shoes in February. It's cold. So for me, that says that someone has come and taken him, or someone else is involved. Someone knows something. And as easy as it is to be like, oh, that could never happen. Like your bedroom is the safest place in the world. Well, no.
What's up?
The video's frozen for me.
If you want to back out and come back in and see if that helps.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. We'll just go ahead and back her little part up right there. Yeah, thank you for the kind words. Appreciate it. We're going to be rolling with this program. It's just going to take me a little bit to get used to it, but we cut the cord on StreamYard this morning. So, done. Let me see. We're not going to be able to get into the surprise. And boy, I can't wait to get into that. We'll have to do that on the next Sebastian show. Let me see here. We still should be able to do the episode. Let me see here. 1 second. There we go. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Let me see how long this episode is.
It's like 11 minutes total or something like that.
Hey, did you ever see that body cam reaction thing I was testing out when I was testing out this program in the beginning? Did you ever see that body cam?
No, I clicked on it, but I didn't want...
bro. We only went through a couple minutes, but I can't wait. You're gonna have to join me on I'm gonna start doing some like 1 or 2 nights a week. I'm gonna start doing some body cam reactions.
Yeah,
And I definitely got to have you on for one of those. Let me
that'll
see
be
how
fun.
long. Where's this episode at? Let me see how long this thing is. 8 minutes. Where did it go? Hold on. There it is. 47 minutes. All right. I don't know if we might have to do a part 2. What do you we'll figure it out. I want to have you back on after this.
Yeah.
Cuz we might do a part 2
Okay.
with this, or just keep this on its own and then
Yeah.
add the other Derek episode on the next one, cuz I do want to watch it with everybody. That might be what I do.
Maybe we
Actually.
can possibly get Narc to come on too.
Yeah, I keep asking him. He's
been real busy lately.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, we do. We all need to get together, and I think we need to have a show and let some stuff off our chest anyway. So
yeah, we need to have an unfiltered night, definitely.
Yeah. We could always do like a members only first or something, to see what YouTube does to us. See what happens. All right. So this is them kind of talking about it. I'm going to go back to, we're going to skip Mr. Walsh. We're going to go right back to here where the blonde guy's talking here.
Is there a roaming predator that just happened to see Sebastian walking down through the neighborhood?
And to me, one thing that stands out is his shoes. He always wore his shoes according to his mom.
Yeah. She shared a story that as a younger boy, he walked through a pile of dirt, turned out to be a bed of fire ants, and he had a thing about always wearing his socks and shoes. I can't think that a 15-year-old child would get up in the middle of the night and leave without his shoes. In February, it's cold. So for me, that says that someone has come and taken him, or someone else is involved. Someone knows something. And as easy as it is to be like, oh, that could never happen, like your bedroom is the safest place in the world. Well, no. Bedrooms are not the safest place in the world.
Nope.
I was taken from my bedroom. It can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
So when you consider what you just said, Elizabeth, and according to Katie, that night, she goes to bed, he goes to bed, then around 10 p.m., there's a bump or a thud. She calls out to him. He says, I'm fine. Yes, ma'am. I'll stop moving. And then that's the end of it. And according to her, when she went to bed, the doors were locked. And when she woke up, the doors were locked. Were the windows locked? That's a big question. Were they secure? Because if they weren't, it could mean one of two things. That thud, him responding, was someone else in there with him?
Or someone was with him and going.
Exactly.
So I do want to bring up...
Exactly, and that's the biggest part about the thud, and that's why I'm glad he brought it up with what she was saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he hit the nail on the head, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad he included it, because she didn't, and it needed to be said, and shout out to him for doing it, and also bringing up the other possibilities that we've been saying this whole time, about the thud, and about how it didn't have to be him doing something. Hey, it could have been part of, like I said, the back door slamming shut.
Yeah, or a window.
Thud. Or a window. But according to her, the windows were locked from the inside. Now I could see the windows always being locked, and I could see the door accidentally being left unlocked, and so. But you're right, it could be the window. It could be the window, but it really is saying it's the door.
I've thought a window was locked, and it was in the locked position, but it's still open. So, I mean, it could have been in the locked position, and not all the way secured down. Because it's got to be down so far before it actually catches. So who knows?
It's the probabilities. It's the back door. You know.
Oh yeah.
The thud.
Back door is the most logical.
I'm glad he brought it up because it needed to be brought up. It needed to be brought up because it didn't get brought up before.
Nope.
And you know, when it comes to let me bring this up real quick. When it comes to this, okay, let me do this. So when it comes to this, the mother reported hearing a thud from his room, at which point the mother called out to him to keep it down, which he responded. So you know how I said when she said in the very beginning of she was going back to what was reported in the very beginning from the person where it looks like they were reading what had been written down from an officer that was doing an interview of Katie about the events that took place, because as you can also see, it also says last seen February 25th 2024, and
Right.
when you're going back to this, it shows you right here. That's the realest shit that you'll see on any of these last seen when it comes to the date, the time, what actually took place, and what actually was said. Because she didn't called out to him and said, "I love you, Mom." No, it says mother called out to him and said, "Keep it down," which she responded, and that's exactly what she said in the beginning of this episode. So I'm glad that she was honest about that part, because that basically that tells you right there, this is exactly what the last scene should say. And then shout out to him for bringing up the thud, because it needed to be brought up, especially because it's right here as well, the thud.
Exactly.
This home security camera footage. This looks like foot traffic right in here.
Yeah, if you look at the footage here, you can see subject number 1 allegedly, right? It looks like something that's illuminated, which, by the way, we haven't mentioned it yet. According to Katie, there was a flashlight that Sebastian liked using that was missing. So you consider that, it does look like 2 people holding flashlights.
Yes, that paints a picture.
And see, when they're talking about this is what surprised me, is because Eric Craddock from, when was it? March, the end of March.
Right.
It was the end of March where Nick Barris asked him about this video. And Eric Craddock said that it didn't hold any evidentiary value, but he wouldn't discuss it further.
Right.
You know, because Barris asked him to go into more, and he wouldn't discuss it further. So that was weird. It was like, well, I can't tell you more about it, but all I can tell you is that it doesn't have any evidentiary value. So that's kind of why I'm interested why they brought this up, because straight from law enforcement, even though it is suspicious, because it's like I've always said, it always is suspicious. But Craddock, I'm surprised that they went, with that video right there, when you could have really shown the Texas Roadhouse video and the weird way that person was acting too, because both of them have been said from law enforcement that these didn't hold any evidentiary value. So
Right.
I wonder why they brought up the whole security footage when there could have been something else that could have been discussed in that time slot, so to speak.
I don't know. The whole flashlights video, to me, it could be anything. There's not enough there to say exactly what it is. I mean, you're just watching a couple lights going around in the dark. It literally anything.
I was hearing from the beginning that it was 2 neighbor kids.
Oh man, I've heard 2 neighbor kids. I heard some guy walking his dog. I've heard a car headlights from another street.
Trash truck.
Oh God, don't even start with the trash truck.
Trash truck.
No, it ain't got enough lights for that. But yeah, there's so many different speculation theories and thoughts, but I mean, in my opinion, you can't be definite on anything in this video at all. It'd be completely different if it was a video during the daytime where you can actually see something.
Well, they have a video during the daytime that you can see something, and that's what Chris and Katie and Steve Fisher were reaching out to the local news.
A reenactment on what their narrative is?
I don't know. I'm just saying there was another video out there in the daytime too.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it is, I mean, it's like you hear this guy with the blonde hair. Hey, people, check your footage. It's like, bro, everybody's done checked their footage like crazy, man.
You're a little late party on that one.
Come on now. If you want to check any footage, you need to check the footage that all of us collected while we were out there, because who says you might not see something we didn't notice? That's the footage that, I mean, because how many people have gone through just this footage alone, broke it down, different versions, zoomed in, enhanced, thermal image, all this different stuff, man. There's been so much stuff that's been done with these videos.
Right. It's like the video of that blob that somebody thinks it was 2 people holding Sebastian.
Oh, that's
that literally, it's like looking at one of those damn cards that's got a ink blot on it, and it was like, do you see the butterfly? And I'm like, no. I mean, it doesn't say without a shadow of a doubt one way or another to me. But that's just my thoughts. I mean, it's fucking, man, this case. It's all coming back again. I can see me having sleepless nights again over this. Thank you.
Hey, I'll just keep that to myself. All right. We'll go ahead and finish this. So they're talking about the light video. The light video. Okay. It is what it is. I mean, it is suspicious. It's something that happened that same night. It is suspicious. But it's a cell phone video off of a monitor, off of a certain part of a monitor, not even the full thing. So it's like,
yeah,
I can guarantee you the original footage, you'd be able to see some shit. I guarantee you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Guarantee you.
Just like the picture of what they thought was a girl standing or sitting behind somebody else. But it was blurry and you couldn't tell. And people were like, it's Sebastian. And I'm like, no, that's a female. It's just so many things been put out there.
Yep. The cotton balls at the bottom of the cliff, man.
Oh my goodness.
That's what it is.
That is foul play.
Yes.
So I want to help the public now. We
It is
want
public.
to find Sebastian. What do you say to people, Elizabeth?
First of all, to the 16-year-olds of the country, the high school age, really, if you know someone who looks like Sebastian, if you know something about Sebastian, tell your parents, call into the show, call the police, report it. This might be the break that we need. To the parents, if you have seen a 16-year-old boy that looks like Sebastian, do not be afraid to pick up the phone and call.
There is a $50,000 reward to help find him. Sebastian Rogers was about 5'5".
I'm gonna pause it right here too. This is one thing that stuck out to me as well, bro. They just mentioned the $50,000 reward. They didn't mention anything about dogs. What is it? What is it now? I don't even know what it is.
Last I saw it was up to $500,000.
Did you see the rules that you have? Like, did you see how you did you ever read the fine print on how you?
I didn't read. I didn't. I saw there was
read the fine print.
Yeah, I saw there was fine print and that there was terms.
Oh yeah.
For lack of better words.
Oh yeah. You ain't getting it.
Yeah.
I'm just being real. Like, I said it from the very beginning before they even put up a reward.
Yep.
When there's a reward out there, you rarely ever get it. Like, you can go look it up. You can search people who didn't get rewards, and it's just nonstop. I mean,
oh yeah.
There's so many people. Even this car wash dude for the Vicky and Casey White, when they took off on the run, that dude's the one that fucking gave him the tip, dude, to where they were at, and he didn't even get to collect you rarely ever get to collect the reward, buddy. But when you look at the fine print, sometime, bro, and you will literally, you'll be like, there ain't nobody claiming this.
Right.
Ain't nobody gonna be able to claim this unless you literally grab them by the damn hand and walk them to where Sebastian's at.
Right.
Look at the fine print, y'all. Don't just look at the big numbers at the top and all this other shit. Look at the fine print.
Yep.
There's documents that show what the terms and all that stuff, and you go through it and you're like, it's already would be hard enough to get a regular reward as it is, and then you see all those terms. That's way beyond what you get from the FBI, yo.
Exactly.
So that was interesting. I was like, oh, that's crazy that they just mentioned the FBI, but they didn't mention dogs reward, which you would think they would have, because that's a humongous number, bro. Like, what other reward is that big for anything? Really nothing. So I think it maybe was like it was obviously done on purpose. Because if they would have done any kind of minimal research, they would have came across dog's reward.
Oh yeah.
Minimal research, you would have came across dog's reward. And I think it says something when America's Most Wanted doesn't even announce that astronomical number. They just stick to what the FBI put out there.
Yeah.
Very crazy. Very interesting. You think they did it on purpose, bro? I think they did.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're trying to choose my words here. Yeah, they definitely did it on purpose.
Because they probably read the fine print too, and they're like, never mind.
Yeah, I think they could smell the hot dog steak.
They said, never mind. Never mind. Yeah, so that stuck out to me too.
When he was last seen, and he wears glasses. Sebastian is not comfortable with strangers.
If you're someone from this small town and you're in this neighborhood, check your cameras. There might be someone sitting on some doorbell cameras footage. I bet you he's in this small town in Tennessee.
Wow, that's an interesting theory.
But this isn't.
See, why would that be? Wow, that's an I've always said he's probably in somebody's damn basement and got transferred to a state or two over from Tennessee.
Yeah, and I mean, for him to say, "I bet you he's in a small town in Tennessee," that's still pretty vague. I mean, it ain't like the dude said he's in Watertown, Tennessee, and he's at da 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 da. I mean, that would be like, wow.
A lot of small towns.
You know,
dude, I do not listen. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Maybe he was in a small town around in Tennessee somewhere. Maybe the first month, maybe the first 2 months.
Do you know how many small towns are around Hendersonville?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and someone on Facebook, I won't mention who, was like, "Oh, that's got to be Gallatin." And I'm like, first of all, Gallatin's not really a small town. It's pretty populated. And secondly, I know where they're going with that because of Enoch and other things related to that. You know, they were trying to bring up a narrative.
Hey, I mean, who knows? It just... I honestly think that he's a state or two away. I think he was kept locally for a month, maybe 2 months, because it became national.
Yeah.
And so they needed to make sure that he sat for a month or two before they took their chances to head out, let it cool down a little bit. And that's when I think he was... They're not going to keep him in the same state. They usually go a state or two over, and then that's when, you know,
they're keeping him mobile if he's still with us.
Oh, they end up treating him like trading cards, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they end up treating him like trading cards. I would hope he's not Moto. And I would hate to put that thought in anybody's head. Respectfully, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to their loved one. Even though it might be true, respectfully, that's the last thing that I would want a loved one to have to see or hear, you know what I'm saying, or even think of, even though it's true, but at the same time, you know, just out of respect kind of thing.
The most rural area.
Sorry, bro.
Since we're just kind of talking open about this, something come to my mind. Do you remember way back in the beginning when Seth was speaking and he said, "I know where he's at, but I can't get to him"? And then that just kind of disappeared.
Well, don't you think he would have got to him?
Yeah,
if he knew where he was at?
It was never spoke of again. It was like it was wiped off wherever he said it at and everything. But it was so weird, that statement that he made.
Yeah, but what could he have meant? I mean, if he knew where he was at, if he couldn't get to him, there's somebody that could get to him, like the government, the FBI.
He literally says, I don't have the manpower or the money to get to him. I remember that.
Well, yeah, probably to be able to get out there and look in more places than locally. Of course. I mean, but if it's like he's talking like if he's talking like he knew where he was at, but couldn't get to him, I'd imagine he would have got to him by now, especially with the help from the government. The agencies that are involved, they can get to him if he couldn't, if he really knew where he was at. So I think maybe it might have took it the wrong way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I could have. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Because if he knew and he couldn't get to him, you don't think the FBI could?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. FBI could have. So
there's so many things
I don't think he necessarily knew, face value. I don't think he knew, because if he knew and couldn't get to him, then that's when the government agencies can do what they do to get to him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see what else I think this is just a hello, goodbye kind of thing. Let me back it up just a skosh here after he got done saying that.
But this isn't the most rural area in the world. We're not talking about out in the Rocky Mountains. This is a neighborhood
There's
where
a highway going to this.
There's high foot traffic everywhere, and still no sign of him.
Wow. Thank you to our team of experts. And you all know our purpose is to examine these cases and give people watching information so they can bring the missing home. And I want to thank Callahan. I'm so glad that you're with us right now. We'll see you next week.
All right. So that's the end of that episode right there. And let me put this back up where it'll show that there. Let's see. Let's make that bigger. There we go. So that's what it should have said. Should say, this is what the story should be, over and over and over and over.
Yep.
The different statements, the different versions. It's not rocket science. Whenever there's different stories, it's obviously, well, which story is it? Because it's not all of them.
No.
And if he told you that he loved you, Mom, as you said in one of your versions, well, then why wouldn't you be ending with that version every single time? Because she didn't even say that he said that he loved her in this one, on this America's Most Wanted episode.
Yeah, she's only said that in a couple episodes.
Yeah.
A couple different.
Something's up. But yeah, that'll be fine. We'll I want to save that surprise that we're gonna go through for the next one when you're able to join. So we'll figure out in the background when you're able to come back, man. I appreciate you hopping up. It was kind of last minute, so thanks for going to the spot to come kick it with us for a couple hours. I'm gonna go do some stuff over at the lounge here in a little bit. There's that link if you want to go back. We'll be doing some Idaho 4 stuff tomorrow, and I might be doing, I don't know, I'm doing a show for sure tomorrow night. I might be doing one in the morning because there's a lot more stuff that even just came out today that I kind of want to go over. So we'll see what we do with that. I'll be over at the lounge streaming some stuff over there. And other than that, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you guys for hanging out. Also, if you're not subscribed to Busby, here's his link.
Thanks for having me up, man.
Oh, no. Thanks for being up, bro.
It's been a while.
Well, we'll get together where we can all get together.
Yeah.
One of these evenings, and we'll just, I have a lot of stuff I want to say. I think I know you guys do too, so we'll just have a night where we just let it all out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When it comes to all this dumb shit going on.
Yep.
But
definitely.
Thank you all. Please hit the like if you haven't. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. Thank you all for the beautiful words. and we will see you on the show tomorrow. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Okay over there? Alright, is the victim at the hospital? Someone shot there. Alright, the ET doesn't take pictures of the, is it domestic related? We're going to try to give her a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Number.